And this is the first session under programming and analysis. Next slide. So my name is Mohammed Sidki, and I'm the AIA San Mateo County Chapter President. First, we want to say thank you to our sponsors, Heather Young Architects, Romig Engineers, and Da Vinci Marble. Next slide. So this was brought to you by the Emerging Professionals Committee. And one of the things that we do is the ARE study session. So if you have passed any of your exams recently and you would like to help lead one of these sessions or share your knowledge, reach out to me. Just email me and I can even help. If you have not done a session before, I can help just review your slides and review your session before we go live. So just reach out to me if you want to share your knowledge. And really this whole idea is about like building a community of like people who are studying for their exams and sharing their knowledge together. Next slide. And if you have not attended the last session, we actually did breakout groups and we created some study groups. Some of these groups are actually meeting on weekly basis. So this is more of like this group's more of people meeting together and discussing their resources, talking about the exam, doing homework on their own, answering questions. And this is really a good way just to keep yourself in check. So if you did not attend the last session or if you are not part of this and you wanted to join, again, just send me an email. My email is on the screen. Send me an email and I can give you access to this document. Next. Okay, just a few session rules. Please mute yourself if you are not talking to reduce background noise, but feel free to unmute and ask questions at any time. Again, as I was mentioning before, sometimes the questions that you hear in the session are more important than like anything else. So questions are really important. Do not discuss any specific exam questions. That is not permitted by NCARB. So we talk about topics, but don't mention a specific question you got in the exam. And as I mentioned before, the session is being recorded. Next. Okay, so reaching out to our guest speaker. So Diana Rangel, Diana moved from Mexico back in 2011 to pursue her dream. She completed her master's in interior architecture from the Academy of Art University in San Francisco and started her career in residential design. After a few years, she wanted to experience what working in a large firm was and joined DAS Architects and Engineers. Since then, she has been lucky to work in an ample variety of projects and expand her experience from interiors into architecture. She has completed 4 AREs to date, and she's excited about sharing her experience and help others complete their goals. And as I mentioned, if you want to be the next guest speaker, just reach out to me and I can help you with your presentation, your slides, reviewing that. Now, just to add one more thing, Diana is actually a coworker of mine and she's a good friend of me. Mm-hmm. And I'm really excited about her presentation. Next slide. Yeah, so I think now I'll give it to Diana to inspire us and talk to us about programming and analysis.
Well, thank you, Mohammed, and thank you everyone for joining. As Mohammed said, I already passed 4 exams, and the latest one being PA. And what I'm trying to share today is all the tips and topics that I found the most helpful for the exam. So for our session, we have our agenda. First, I'm going to do an introduction to the exam. And then I'm going to talk about the 3 main topics that hopefully we can cover in one session, or we may have to break it up into sessions. We will see. First one is programming. The second one is climate zones and the relationship to building design. And third, stormwater management. After the main topics, I will give you some additional tips of other study materials. And we can close with questions and answers. And that doesn't mean you cannot answer while I'm presenting. Feel free to unmute or send a message through the chat box, and Mohammed will help me reading the questions.
Yep.
Okay. So as you know, this is programming and analysis. Is the middle ground exam. I took it after the pro practice, practice management, project management, and construction evaluation. And it's a middle ground of difficulty before moving on to PPD and PDD. These are the passing rates coming directly from the NCARF website. As you can see over the years, there's a constant like half of the people passing the exam, being exactly 50% for 2020. The reference materials that I used, first I looked at the ARE handbook. I read through the objectives and analyzed what I need to focus on, and also went through the sample questions at the beginning before studying, at the middle of my study time, and at the end, just to make sure I knew what I needed to study. I also check the reference metrics for the textbooks or materials that are useful and official. I check the NCARF community online. I know this is not really used that much anymore, and like other social media is used more often. But I like this community because it's official. It comes directly from NCARF, and it's good to read like others' experiences and to know what materials they use, and that's something that may or may not work for someone could be different for you.
And if I can just add one more thing, you will have actually people from NCAR responding to questions. So that is a good thing. You have like answers that are actually coming from NCAR, so it's more credible.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mohammed. And then talking about the exam content, there's 4 main sections. Section 1, environmental and contextual conditions. Section 2, codes and regulations. Section 3 and 4 that we are going to touch today, site analysis and programming, and building analysis and programming. This is the reference metrics coming out of the handbook and highlighted with a red, well, it's orange, an orange box, the books that I focused on. I focused on the accessibility standards, the IBC, and really important to know the difference between the IBC and the CBC because some dimensions for accessibility are different. So you just need to know that. Other books that I focused on was Architectural Graphic Standards, Building Codes Illustrated, Site Planning and Design, and Problem Seeking. In addition to the ARE review manual from Ballast. But I like to use more like official sources. So my strategy was to be realistic and plan my time. There's no better person to know yourself than yourself. So don't try to do exactly what others do. So plan your time based on yourself and how much time you actually have. Commit to study almost every day, at least half an hour. Record your time. I created an Excel spreadsheet that helped me out knowing how much time I will actually focus on studying. I alternated materials. I did videos, readings, exercises, sample questions, everything mixed so I didn't get bored. I will take notes to reinforce my study time. I joined the study group to stay motivated and stay focused. And really important, if you're working in a company, you can ask your coworkers or you can join study sessions like this one. And with that, I'm going to dive into the first topic. The first one is programming, for which the main source that I used was Problem Seeking. I really recommend going through this book. It's really helpful for the exam. You need to know the difference between overall building efficiency, net area, building gross area, base building efficiency, usable area, and interior layout efficiency. I'm going to go over them in the next slides.
And if I can just add that problem seeking, I actually was able to, it exists as a PDF. So you can just get the PDF of that book. Yeah.
So the first one, overall building efficiency. So as the name says, it's the overall building, right? So if you think about it, it contains all the pieces that a building has. It's usually used by the clients and the architects, and it's a factor. If you take a look at on the right side, I have a table, and in this table gives you this actually coming from the problem seeking book. This gives you the ratio between interior layout, base building, and overall building efficiency. And on the very left, you see that these are based on type of building. For example, a corporate office will have an overall building efficiency of 0.50. And when you see 0.50, that's the same thing as saying 50%. And how do you calculate the overall building efficiency? We have a formula that is at the bottom. It's dividing your net assignable area by your building gross area. And I'm going to explain what these are in the next slides as well. I want to use as an example one of the projects that I worked on. It's a research and development facility with the front of the unit being office. The middle is a core and break room, and at the back it has labs and a shipping and receiving area. Like really straightforward, small space. So the first area that I want to define here is building gross area. So building gross area covers everything in the building. It includes exterior walls and all the interior items. So in this case, our building gross area is 14,500, everything that is hatched in gray.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Is the gross area from the outside face of the glass, including the skin of the building?
Yes.
Okay.
And the next one is net assignable area. This area is usually given to you as a requirement from the client. And to remember about these spaces, think about that is the space that a person or equipment needs to be able to be useful or work in that specific area. So the way that you calculate this is to include all the interior walls, but exclude the exterior walls. And you exclude the core, like the restrooms or the janitor closet, and you exclude vertical penetrations like the stairs and elevator, exclude service, like the shipping and receiving, and the elevator room or storage. And you also exclude all the primary circulation and secondary circulation. And everything that you see highlighted in gray in the plan, it's our net assignable area. And for this example, that accounts for 6,000 square feet. And here it comes, poll number 1. Yeah, Mohammed is going to help me out.
So you guys
yes.
all should see the poll launched, and you can choose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in this one, we need to calculate the overall building efficiency. And the problem should read something like this. For a building with a gross area of 14,500 square feet, usable area of 12,000 square feet, rentable area of 14,000 square feet, and net area of 6,000 square feet, what is the overall building efficiency? We'll give them a few minutes and then we will go over the answer.
Yeah, so just use your calculator and see how you want to get the answer. And choose one of these. We'll give 2 minutes.
Can we see the formula again?
Here.
Question, please.
Okay, 10 people have responded so far, 11. And it's 2 minutes so far. We will end in 30 more seconds. 18 people responded. In the actual exam, you literally have almost 1 minute per question. So you really want to be fast in it. Okay, I will stop very 10. Okay, we have 72%. Okay, I will stop in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. End of poll. Okay, let's share results. You want to go to the answer, Diana?
Yes, 1 second.
And you are seeing the results, right?
Yes, okay. Yeah, I see 72% shows 0.41, which is good. Okay, let's respond this. So we know our net assignable area is 6,000 and our building gross area is 14,500. So we divide that and yes, the majority is correct. The answer is 0.41, which is the same as saying 41%. And if we compare this overall building efficiency to the table on the right, where corporate R&D should be 0.5, we're kind of close. So that tells us that we can improve this number, right?
Is this clear? Sorry, is this clear to everyone before we move on? Because I know that 72% got the correct answer, but the rest did not. Is this clear for everyone now? Okay, I guess it is clear. Sounds good. Let me stop sharing.
Okay. Base building efficiency. So for this one, instead of using net area in the formula, we are going to use usable area. So base building efficiency equals usable divided by building gross area. So what is usable area? So usable area is everything that you see in the plan highlighted in gray. Again, it includes all the interior walls, but excludes the exterior walls. Includes all the spaces in the space except the service, like the restrooms and cores, and excludes also vertical penetrations as the elevators and stairs, the elevator equipment room, and the main primary circulation that you see in white right here. So if you think about it, the usable area could be defined as the net area plus the secondary circulation. And in this case, for this example, our usable area is 12,000 square feet. So just remember the word usable is all the space that you can use. In this case, as an office, as a lab, all the people can use all these spaces. And obviously they can use the restroom too, but it's not related to the actual use of the space. Restroom is something that you need, or elevator and stairs is something that you need for the space to work. Question number 2. We're going to calculate the base building efficiency. So it's basically the same question as the previous poll number 1, but we now have to calculate the base building efficiency. We'll leave 2 minutes.
Can we have the
You should remember the formula.
formula? Oh, it's so
Yes.
fast. Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Oops. So it's usable divided by gross, and then I'll go back to the question.
We'll give 30 more seconds. Ten, 9, 5, 2, 1. Okay, and polling, share results.
Great. Yeah, better than last one. 89% had the right answer. And I'm just going to go over the answer. Okay, so we know our usable is 12,000 and our gross is 14,500. So when we divide that, we have 0.82 or 82%. Now we compare that to our table. The base building efficiency for corporate R&D is usually 0.8. So we are close. We have 0.82. And now we are going to cover the third on the table, which is the interior layout efficiency. And this is the ratio of net area to usable area. And usually is expressed by a percentage. So for this one, I'm just going to go over it. I'm not going to ask a question. But following our example, we know that a net assignable area is 6,000 and our usable is 12,000. Therefore, our interior layout efficiency is 0.5 or 50%. And if we compare to the table, we're actually lower. This is the number that is lowering our overall building efficiency. Therefore, we could think about how to have a better interior to move this number up. Okay, and the last topic for this one is rentable area. And this is the floor area that can be assigned to a tenant, and that the owner of the building can assign rent to it. So the way that it's calculated, the formula right here is RU ratio, R of rentable, U of usable. And this ratio is usually called like loss factor. by the developers, and is used for lease agreements or financial analysis. Okay, so rentable area, I would like to think about it as your gross area, but without exterior walls. So it's everything inside your building. You can charge for rent for everything inside. Also, another way to think about it is your usable plus your primary circulation, your core, and your service. Right? But also important, it excludes vertical floor penetrations like stairs and elevators. I know, like, for some developers, they use different standards. It's good to know what BOMA is. BOMA is one of these standards, and I know that for that one, they include the stairs. But in terms of the exam and programming and rentable area, it doesn't include the stairs. Any questions about the rentable area? Okay, let's just do apply this formula to our example. So we know our rentable area is 14,000, and we know our usable area is 12,000. So our ratio is 1.16666, which could be rounded up to 1.17 or 17% loss factor. Something to keep in mind is the value is always shown as 1 point something versus all the other values that we saw for the efficiencies were point something. The only difference with this one is it starts with a 1. Then we have another poll about rentable area. This one is a little bit more tricky. That's something that you can find in the exam as well. We give you gross area 14,500, your usable of 12,000, and your net area of 6,000. What is the rentable area the owner can get with a maximum of 17% loss factor? I will give maybe 3 minutes for this one. This is a little bit tricky. You need to think about the formula, right? How to calculate a rentable area and what the loss factor means. Let me see. Here is the formula as a reminder. Rentable over usable. And I'll go back to the question now.
The question is already in the poll. So,
oh,
yeah, if anyone want to read the question, is already in the poll. So, a minute and a half, 9%. Okay, we'll end in 30 seconds. 10, 9. I have 42%. Come on. Shouldn't be that hard. Okay, I have half have answered. Okay, we'll stop the polling in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2. Okay, and polling here, share results.
Okay, not that bad. 47% have the right answer. Okay, so how do we solve this? We have the formula and we put in the information that we know, right? We know the ratio is 17% loss factor. So that means it's 1.17, right? We said it always starts with number 1. Then equals rentable, that's what we need to find out, divided by usable, that it's given to us. Then something that I found really useful for these formulas is that sometimes in the exam they will ask you a different order of the information that you need to find. For example, in this one, they ask you about rentable, but they give you ratio and usable. So you need to like use basic algebra, and when you know your formula, when you move information from the left or to the right of the equal sign, it's the opposite, right? So in this case, we want to move 12,000 from the right side to the left in order to have rentable area by itself. So we know 12,000 is dividing right now. So if we move it to the left, it should do the opposite. In this case, multiplying, right? So we have 1.17 times 12,000. That's equals our rentable area. And if we multiply that, we have 1440 square feet as rentable area. So this is something that I want you to just take with you, so you can move information around in the formulas. But specifically for this one, there's another way that you could do it. Just take with you that rentable area is always larger than usable area. So what you could do is just take your ratio times usable equals rentable. And I think, yeah, almost half of the people have this right. I know it's a little bit tricky, but it really tests you of how you are understanding the terms and not just memorizing the formula. Does anyone have any question about this one?
I have a question. It's only I got confused with the 1.17. So when they say the loss factor is 17%, I multiplied by 0.17 instead of 1.17. So do we always add 1 to the percentage? That's the formula?
Yes, it's always 1 point something.
1 point, all right.
Yeah.
Oh. That is exactly how I answered it. So I said anything above the rentable area, or rentable area is 12,000. So anything above that will be the answer because it's 1 point something.
Exactly.
And the only option was 1,400. I didn't even use the calculator. I just used this version of your explanation, the logic of the concept.
Yep. Good.
Yeah, yeah, and that's really helpful. Sometimes in the exam, there is a logical answer before
Mhm.
even using the calculator. Yeah, but just knowing, so that's a good question to know that you always have that one um, in your formula.
Yeah, I have a question about the definition of the rentable area. I was looking at the
Mhm.
problem seeking. It looks like problem seeking say that the rentable area exclude the vertical shaft.
Mhm.
So not just um, the exterior wall, also exclude the vertical shaft.
Yes, all the
That,
vertical floor penetrations.
yes.
Mhm. Yeah, that includes shaft, stairs, and elevators.
Oh, I thought you said it only exclude the exterior walls.
No, I can share. Where is it? Rentable here.
Is the one.
Vertical floor penetrations.
Okay.
But I did miss adding shafts. Thank you for noting that. Okay, I think rentable area is the last of the areas that we need to know. I hope I didn't confuse you. I tried to make it as simple as I could. But if you have any questions as well later on, feel free to reach out to me, send me an email, or send an email to Mohammed and he can send it to me. And yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So,
Other things, yes?
sorry, is that clear with everyone? The difference between gross area, net assignable area, rentable, usable, is that clear?
It's clear. It's only the ratio is as more than one as an answer. Everything is point something on the table.
Sounds good.
Yes. Good. Okay. Other two items that I want to talk about for programming is the bubble diagram and adjacency metrics. No, we had this at school, but it's good to know how to read them more because you could have different parameters given to you and information, and you will have these diagrams and you will need to know how the spaces relate to each other to be able to answer the questions. The bubble diagram also, in addition to adjacency, it also includes other items like views, where is the wind coming from, where is north, where is south, if it's close to exterior items like roads, for example. This bubble diagram is for a house. And for example, it tells you, okay, from the road, an entry connects to the entry and mudroom. And from this mudroom connects to the kitchen and the bathroom, but it doesn't connect to the bedroom. So kind of just knowing how to read these connections. And the adjacency matrix on the right is something similar, but it doesn't include these additional items like width and like location and exterior items, but it only tells you the adjacency. And the way that you read these tables is you have black dots. These black dots usually represent like the direct or primary adjacency of the spaces. The white circles, the secondary. And in this graphic, we are using this line for remote, but usually it only has two of them. This example is a commercial space, and the way that you read this is, let's say you have a dining room, and you will read through or follow the line, and follow the line either down or up to the spaces. And let's say you want to see a connection from the dining room to the tickets. So you will follow the line, and you will follow the line, and where they intersect, you see the connection. So you can see the black dot, it's the black dot direct, right? Versus dining room and lounge bar. That's secondary. So mainly know like how to read this type of diagrams, and yeah, try. Sometimes they will give you like a description and or parameters of the space, and you need to fill this out with either black dots or white dots. So this is also really important. Okay, and I think this is our last question related to programming. This sample question is directly from the handbook, and so we can just do it together. So if we refer to the exhibit, we are given a program by the client with the different spaces, the net square footage for each space, and how many of these spaces they need. And the question is, a preliminary budget for the adjacent program was estimated at 3 million with 60% building efficiency. The client has requested the preliminary cost be reduced by 500,000 while maintaining the same program spaces and overall construction quality. What overall building efficiency must the architect achieve to fulfill the client's preliminary cost goals? We'll leave you a few minutes and then we will go over it together.
We'll give 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone done with the number? You can either say it or just put it in the chat if you have the number ready. James is saying 50%. And the 2 minutes is done.
Okay.
It's a bit hard. Let's give maybe 1 more minute.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone find the answer, just put it in the chat. Eric is almost 50%, 49.8%. 72%. Manzi, 72%. Okay. %, Charlie. %, 50%. Okay, yeah, I think we can go over the answer. Anyone want to explain the answer maybe before Diana go to the answer?
Yes. Someone wants to share how they
If they
resolve
want to
this
share
question.
how they reach their answer. No one want to share? Okay, let's go to the answer.
Okay, so
2%.
72%. So Necromancy and Sean, yeah, you had the right answer. Congratulations. Okay, so let's start first with the things we know, right? We know that they're asking us the overall building efficiency, and we know the client wants to reduce the cost from 3 million to 2.5 million, but they want to keep the same program, right? We know that the 3 million equals 60% of the building efficiency with this same program. Okay. So first thing to know is finding out what is the total net square footage from the program, right? So we add up all these spaces. So we have 1 break room, 4 conference room of 400, and then 1 open work area 4,000, 20 private offices of 100, 1 reception, 2 restrooms of 175, and 3 storage of 50. So we add all this up, we get 9,000 net square feet, right? So usually when they give you a price for a building, it's usually gross area, right? They don't give you just the price for the space that the person of the equipment is actually using. They give you the price for the whole building, right? So we need to calculate what the gross area is. And in order to do that, you have your 9,000 of net, if you remember the formula, and you divide it by your efficiency, and that gives you the 15,000 square feet of gross area. So now you know your gross area of 15,000 equals 3 million, right? So now you need to find out how much dollars or how much money is per square foot. So you get your 3 million and you divide it by the 15,000 of gross area. That gives you $200 per square feet. So now you need to find out how many gross square feet equals 2.5 million. So you take the 2.5 million, that is the new budget, and divide it by 200. So that gives you 12,500 gross square feet. Now you know you have this new gross and you have the same net area. So now you go back to the formula, right? Overall building efficiency equals net over gross. So that means 9,000 over 12,500. And that gives us 0.72, which is the same as 72%. Yes, so good job for the persons who had the right answer.
I used a different approach. I'm not sure if I missed anything, but I got the same number. So my approach was much easier than this. So since they said this program will remain the same, so I didn't even look at this chart at all. So the estimated cost is 3 million, and the reduced one is 2.5 million. So 3 divided by 2.5 is 1.2, and you just multiple 1.2 by the 60%. That's 72%. Since the program won't change, I don't think this chart is like I don't think we need this chart at all, since it remained the same. Did I explain it clearly? So the estimated cost is 3 million, and then the reduced is 2.5 million. 3 million divided by 2.5 million is 1.2, and that's the factor you need to multiply it by 60%. So that's 70%.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. That's a good yeah.
Not sure if I missed anything.
Yeah. No, that's a really nice.
Right. That's a smart idea to do it. That's a really good shortcut. And
Thanks.
you wouldn't even need the exhibit at that point.
Right.
Yeah. We need to send an email to NCAR.
Yes.
No. That's a better way to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I wish I knew that before my exam.
Lindsay, can you share with us again how you did it, like in a sketch? Or
well, can you see my type? I'm annotating. Can you see it?
Annotate. So if you go up to the options, there is annotate, and you can, in the annotate, you can just.
Yeah, you cannot see. I'm typing right now. Can you see it? No.
No.
Okay.
Easy for you just to type on the chat. I think it's easy.
Okay.
3,000, like minus the 500, you have 2,000.
And I will whatever you are saying on the
Yeah, I'll do that.
on the chat.
thank you.
The critical thinking is phenomenal on the other side. Must be the water in the Bay Area.
So actually, let me do this. Let me see. So 3 million. My handwriting with annotate is horrible.
I put it in the chat.
Practice.
Hopefully you guys can see this. Yeah, so 3 million minus 500,000, that's 2,500,000. And then 3 million over 2.5 million is equal to 1.2, and then 1.2 multiplied by 60% equal to 72%, which is The correct answer. Ah, I see it here on the screen. Okay.
Yeah. Good. So thank you for sharing.
Did everyone get this solution?
Yes.
Excellent.
Problem.
Yeah, much easier, much simpler basic steps.
Faster. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Delete one.
Okay. I think that's the last slide for programming, Mohammed. Should we just
Okay. Yeah.
break it up for the next one?
Yeah. It's 6 o'clock. So yeah, for everyone's time. Yeah. So it's 6 o'clock. I think we will conclude here. Any last questions, last discussion before we end for the day? And we'll send the invite for the next session. So Diana can finish the rest of. I think you wanted to talk about climate zones, right? Next.
Yes. Yeah, it's climate zones and the relationship to the building design. And the third topic is stormwater management.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Have it. We can send an invite for the next session. Any last questions? Hopefully this was clear, beneficial for everyone. Thank you, Diana. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and creating the slides. This is really good. Thanks a lot. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for everyone who joined. I hope I helped a little bit.
Very much.
Thank you so much.
And thank you all.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you all for joining. Good luck with your exams.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. See you
Thanks.
next time.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.